Visual, a close-up, high frame rate shot of a silver spoon. A hand enters the frame, fingers lightly brushing the neck of the spoon. Slowly, impossibly, the metal softens like warm taffy and droops. The audio is silent, save for a low, resonant hum. No, I don't mean Employee of the Month special. I mean truly special. No, I don't mean Employee of the Month special. I mean truly special. To have a spark of something inside you that defies the cold, clockwork machinery of the universe. To look at an object, a simple stainless steel spoon, and with nothing but the sheer force of your will, command the atoms to move. Visual, the spoon snaps back to being rigid. The background fades to a deep, cosmic black. Right? It's a seductive thought. It's why we love superheroes and why stage magicians have made millions. It suggests that the mind is something extra, a ghost in the machine that can reach out and poke the world of matter. But I'm here to tell you something that might sound a bit arrogant, maybe even a little heartbreaking. You cannot bend that spoon with your mind. Not now, not in a million years, and not with all the hidden brain potential in the world. And the reason why isn't because you aren't enlightened enough. The reason is much more beautiful, much more rigid, and much more terrifying. The bent spoon doesn't prove you have powers, it proves that the universe has rules. And those rules are the only reason you exist at all. ### Part 1, the illusion of stuff. Visual, the camera zooms into the surface of the spoon. We pass through the metallic sheen, through the lattice of iron and chromium atoms, down into the buzzing world of the quantum diary, X-produced narrator. To understand why telekinesis is a physical impossibility, we have to stop looking at the spoon as a thing and start looking at it as an asterisk process. Richard Feynman used to say that if all of human knowledge were destroyed and only one sentence could be passed on to the next generation, it would be this: all things are made of atoms. Now, you've heard that before. You learned it in 8th grade. But have you felt it? At visual animation of the metallic bond. Electrons flowing like a sea between stationary, positive ions. Look at this spoon. It feels solid. It feels dead. But at the atomic level, it is a war zone. It's a vibrating shaking. Electromagnetic cage match. These atoms are held together by the Castorist electromagnetic force, Astori electromagnetic force. It is a bond so incredibly powerful that it resists the crushing weight of the atmosphere and the pull of the entire Earth's gravity. To bend the spoon, you have to do something very specific. You have to physically displace trillions upon trillions of atoms. You have to break their bonds and slide them past one another. In physics, we have a name for this asterisk work. I don't know. It's called the asterisk first law of thermodynamics. Visual. A large neon sign flicker on in the void, energy is conserved. You want to move the spoon? Great. Where is the energy coming from? The mind, people say. My psychic aura. Okay, let's play that game. If your mind is interacting with the physical world, it must be doing so via force. In the history of human inquiry, we have found exactly 4 fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak, nuclear forces. That's it. There is no psychic force floating in the air like a radio signal. If there were a 5th force, a mind force, we would have seen it by now. We've built the Large Hadron Collider. We've measured the magnetic moment of an electron to 12 decimal places. If your brain could emit a field strong enough to move a gram of metal, that field would be screaming at our sensors. It would be like trying to hide a jet engine in a library. Visual, a diagram of the human brain next to a toaster. A power output meter shows the brain at 20 watts and the toaster at 1,000 watts. And your brain is a biological computer that runs on about 20 watts of power. That's barely enough to light the bulb in your refrigerator. To bend a spoon using electromagnetism from a distance, your brain would need to generate a field so intense it would literally cook your gray matter into a sourdough starter before the spoon even vibrated. You aren't a closed system. You are a part of the universe, and the universe is a very strict accountant. If you want to move an atom from point A to point B, you have to pay for it in energy. There are no free lunches in physics. There are no free lunches in physics. ###. Part 3, the analogy of the dancing dust. Visual, a sunlit room. Dust motes dance in a beam of light. Narrator. Think of the atoms in that spoon like a crowd of 1 billion people in a stadium, all holding hands, locked tight. This is the macro state. The spoon looks still to you. Visual zoom in on the crowd. Visual zoom in on the crowd. They are actually jiggling and vibrating violently, but staying in their seats. Now, imagine you want one person in the middle of that crowd to move 3 seats to the left without touching them. How do you do it? You could scream at them, sound energy. You could throw a ball at them, kinetic energy. You could shine a laser on them, radiation. But willing them to move, what does that mean at the atomic level? Nothing happens. To move those atoms, you would have to interact with their fields, but your brain's fields stay inside your skull. They are confined by the inverse square law. By the time any thought, energy reached the spoon, it would be indistinguishable from the background hum of the universe. Entropy. The second law is the real killer here. The universe prefers disorder. To bend a spoon is to create a very specific kind of ordered change. You are trying to fight the tendency of the universe to just stay as it is, or get more chaotic. To win that fight, you need a lever, you need a mechanism. Biology is physics. Your hand is a lever. Your muscles are chemical engines. When you use your hand to bend the spoon, you are converting the chemical energy from the sandwich you ate for lunch into mechanical work. The telekinesis shortcut isn't just a mystery. It's a violation of the very logic that keeps the stars burning. Hash, part 4, the micro versus the macro data. Why does it feel possible, though? It feels possible because we live in the middle world. We live at a scale where we don't see the trillions of individual interactions. We just see the spoon, visual and animation showing a drop of ink spreading in water. If you watch a drop of ink in water, it spreads out. It never unspreads. Why? There is no law of physics that says the ink molecules can't all just happen to move back into a tiny droplet. It's just that there are so many more ways for them to be spread out than to be together. Telekinesis is the same problem. You are asking trillions of atoms to coordinate their movement based on a thought that exists in a completely different medium. It would be like trying to change the color of the ocean by whispering a secret to a single wave on the shore. The scales don't match. The coupling isn't there. Because the molecules are being stretched out of their comfortable sol. Tick jumble, they want to go back to disorder. My will doesn't make the rubber band move. My force does. And that force is transmitted through the contact of my skin, the overlap of my electrons repelling the electrons of the rubber band. No contact, no overlap. No force. No force, no magic. Hash, part 5. The philosophical pivot, asterisk. Now, at this point, you might feel a bit let down. It feels a bit cold, doesn't it? To live in a universe where mind over matter is just a fairy tale told by people in silk capes. But let's pivot. Let's look at what this actually means. If you could move things with your mind, if the laws of physics were that flimsy, the universe would be a nightmare. Imagine a world where the fundamental constants of matter changed every time someone had a stray thought or a burst of anger. The sun relies on the precise, unwavering reliability of nuclear forces. Your DNA relies on the exact, predictable strength of hydrogen bonds. If the mind could bypass physics, the very structures that allow the mind to exist, your neurons, your synapses, the delicate chemistry of your consciousness, would dissolve. The visual, a beautiful, complex clockwork mechanism. It is intricate and glowing. You cannot bend the spoon because the universe is asterisk honest. It doesn't cheat. The fact that you have to pick up the spoon with your hand is a testament to the fact that you are real. You are a physical being in a physical world. You aren't an observer looking in from the outside. You are a participant in the dance. The limitation of not having telekinesis is the very thing that gives your actions meaning. If you want to change the world, you have to actually do it. You have to use your hands, your voice, and your tools. You have to interact with the cold, hard reality of atoms. And isn't that more impressive? Age of human achievement, building the pyramids, sketching the Mona Lisa, typing code, a hand reaching out to touch another hand. We have engineering. We have the incredible 20-watt biological miracle between our ears that figured out how to use the laws of the universe to fly to the moon. The spoon stays straight because the universe is stable. And because the universe is stable. And because the universe is stable, you can build a life. You can build a civilization. Hash part 6, the deep realization. Narrator, asks so. The next time you see someone on a screen claiming to bend metal with their thoughts, don't be cynical. Just be in awe. Not of them, but of the spoon. Be in awe of the fact that those atoms are staying exactly where they are, held together by forces forged in the hearts of dying stars billions of years ago. Be in awe that those forces are so consistent that you can rely on them to keep your chair under you and your heart beating. Feynman used to say that nature has a great simplicity and therefore a great beauty. The simplicity is that the rules apply to everyone, to the king, to the peasant, and to the spoon. There are no exceptions, and to the spoon. There are no exceptions, but I don't do it by escaping the laws of physics. I do it by invoking them, and that is a much better story. Conclusion. Visual, the camera pulls back from the spoon, showing the Earth, then the solar system, then the galaxy. We are the atoms that have woken up and started wondering why they're here. We don't need to break the laws of nature to be powerful. We just need to understand them, because in that understanding we find a connection to every their atom in the existence time. We are part of the clockwork, and it is a magnificent machine. What do you think? Does knowing that the universe is unbreakable make you feel trapped, or does it make you feel safe? Does the honesty of physics make the world more beautiful to you, or less? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'll see you in the next one of visual fade to black. Music swells and then cuts today to black. Music swells and then cuts step. Would you like me to expand on the specific quantum field theory aspect of this script to further debunk the idea of a mental force field?